The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Good evening, I'm Maricela Kelleton. This is TV1 News.
And I'm Terry Longworth. Join me later on in the bulletin for TV1 Sports.
In this edition, nurses urged to work in rural PNG. Finchafin signs hydro agreement, and Commander's Cup returns to the scene.
Community health workers and nurses gathered at Lace Ignatius Kilaga Stadium on Friday, May 12, to celebrate International Nurses Day as well as the Golden Jubilee of the PNG Nurses Association. Formally registered on December 12, 1972, the PNG Nurse Association was recognized as an industrial organization with over 4,000 members.
Nurses, community health workers and stakeholders in Leh gathered at the Sir Ignatius Kilaga Stadium on Friday, May 12th for a double celebration to observe International Nurses Day as well as celebrate the Golden Jubilee of the PNG Nurses Association. The PNG Nurses Association, formally registered on the 12th of December 1972, has over 4,000 members. The Morobet chapter had morning devotion before executives spoke of the vital roles they play, the passion to serve and adhering to their code of conduct. Long-serving nurses and community health workers were also called up to the front and acknowledged for their services. Among them was 66-year-old Sister Martha Marampau, who has been serving the nation for 47 years. When introducing Sister Marampau, Momase Rural President Sister Siling Awasa tearfully shared that she met the health worker from Manus when she was doing her practical as a young nurse.
And since then she has been here serving Morobe all her life. She has been a nurse manager, heavily involved in the Family Health Services program. So thank you, Sister Marapau, for serving our people.
Sister Awasa also acknowledged community health workers Kiawa Samana and Miriam Suma. Both have served for over 4 decades as well.
Samana, Kiawa Samana is a very, very strong person, very hard working. You miss at the talk the time here, these people almost a worry the time, they come on time, even today. I want to start looking the young nurses from now. And I really appreciate these 2 nurses and acknowledge you for your services.
Sister Awasa said most of these long-serving health workers are from public health and they deserve recognition and appreciation. A majority of them are in their 60s and have already submitted their names for retirement. Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
Nurses and other health workers are encouraged to work in PNG's rural areas. Leh District Nursing Officer Manzia Bomiringnu issued the encouragement after being acknowledged for over 4 decades of service in the health sector.
Long-serving nurses and community health workers have pointed out that today's workforce would rather be in the cities than serve the rural majority. Leh District Nursing Officer Sister Manzia Bomiringnu pointed this out during the commemoration of International Nurses Day, as well as the 50th Golden Jubilee of the PNG Nurses Association on Friday, May 12. Sister Bomiringnu has 43 years of service under her belt. She said those in public health started in the bushes.
From 80, 81, 82, now 83. Me go to boost, Mr. 3 years, 84, 85 minutes in boost and make a map the town. Me lapon the town, late this week. Experience from the bush, please me like if the bush. You must go to bush na walk the bush because by you gain more experience. The bush na come out. You'll be HC on your own, you'll be doctor on your own. The experience like the bush na come out. From working experience, me looking become nurses standard and loose. And loose big plateau. And loose big plateau because now me looking at money and come up face play you me now. Money and come up thinking play you me. You may not go to work like saving my patients, but you're going to work like it's money. Today we celebrating 50 years. Now me how much the son of player. Now celebrate this day. Minister, me to put in paper for me to retire now. By you retire me or no God.
Sister Concilia Amol started as a junior nurse at the Engau Memorial Provincial Hospital in the mid-1980s. She has remained there all these years and is now the director of Engau's Nursing Services Directorate and the acting nurse manager. Originally from Hanahan village in the autonomous region of Bougainville, Sister Amol, who is also looking at retiring, said nurses are multi-skilled workers who operate with no limits to their scope of work.
Self-examine yourself holistically and see your weakness and strength. Please, a lot of us, we are failing in so many times. Time management and all the things that I was, mentioning at the first place, please. And powering you again, make him something good for you yet. We will be going with a good heart. Maybe a year, maybe end of this year or next year, we are prepared.
Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
Every year, thousands of babies are born in Papua New Guinea, and sadly, many of these babies die before they reach their 5th birthday. One of the causes is diseases that are preventable through immunization. This includes measles, polio, whooping cough, and tetanus. Thus, the national government is spearheading a campaign to raise the country's immunization coverage rate to save lives of children. This exercise is estimated to cost 25 million kina annually.
Up until 2022, Gavi, the vaccine alliance that helps vaccinate almost half the world's children against deadly and debilitating diseases, supported the National Department of Health to vaccinate Papua New Guinean children. This funding support ended last year. Going forward, the National Department of Health will now need 25 million kina annually to procure vaccines alone.
I just told you that we need 25 million kina. Where are we going to get it every year? This is just for vaccines. I'm not talking about the salary or the vehicle hire or the helicopter hire or none of it. This is just for procurement of the vaccines.
Dr. Waramin says NDOH is now looking at its partners for specialized technical assistance and for political leadership and engagements.
We're looking at our partners for specialized technical assistance and for political leadership engagement. I need to talk with these people here, these ones. The DSIP money and PSIP and all those. They need to put their money in there for their districts.
The nationwide immunization campaign will be carried out during May and June 2023. The goal, to increase immunity against measles and rubella in children under 5 years of age, which is 14.5% of the total population, and reduce the risk of measles outbreak.
Furthermore, Dr. Waramin emphasized that the focus of the supplementary immunization activity is on zero-dose communities.
As I said in the beginning, is that our people need to understand what are these diseases that we are vaccinating against and why. So from scientific knowledge and of course medical knowledge, we know that these diseases, when children catch them, they are not treated, they can eventually lead to death, fatal. They are almost always fatal. Many children will survive and some will die.
Public servants and those intending to become one would now be required to attend a leadership and governance course at the Sumara Institute of Leadership and Governance, formerly known as Pacific Institute of Leadership and Governance, or PILAG. SILAG's Chief Executive Officer Michael Barobe announced this new arrangement during the Institute's recent graduation at the Northern Training Center in Medan last week.
32 public servants graduated with certificates in middle management and diploma in public administration, respectively, at a ceremony hosted by SILAG at the Medan Resort Hotel recently. The 36-week intensive training was run by the Northern Training Center in Medan, which included 18 pioneers in obtaining the Diploma in Public Administration program. Officers from the Medan Provincial Administration, 6 district administrators, Medan Provincial Health Authority, Department of Works and Highways, and the Police Department participated in the courses. Similar trainings are being rolled out for departmental heads, provincial administrators, and district administrators or chief executive officers. Barobe challenged the graduating officers to be agents of change in their respective workplaces when they return. He also encouraged them to value their work. Meanwhile, Department of Personnel Management Deputy Secretary Policy and Reforms, Alison Kalimet, commended the graduates for successfully completing their trainings. On behalf of Secretary Taya Sanson, Kalimet thanked CEO Barobe for his hard work in rejuvenating the institute. Frida Kana, TV1 News.
In a significant crackdown on drug-related offences, the police and Kimbe District Court officials conducted a bonfire today to destroy confiscated drugs worth between 1 and 2 million kina. These exhibits were seized from offenders between March and November 2022. The police and Kimbe District Court officials have taken strict measures to curb drug-related offences and possession of illegal firearms. Confiscated drugs worth between 1 and 2 million kina were destroyed in a bonfire. The exhibits, including marijuana, homemade guns and ammunition, were seized from offenders between March and November 2022 and were overdue for destruction.
Ensure that these exhibits are destroyed, mainly drugs, and for the ammunition and weapons, homemade guns will be disposed of at the sea.
As per the district court's regulations, the exhibits were to be destroyed after 30 days. However, most of the exhibits destroyed today were overdue for destruction. In a bid to prevent any possible harm, the guns and ammunition were dumped in the sea. According to official reports, between March and November last year, the authorities convicted 32 offenders for possessing drugs and were sentenced to prison for terms ranging from 3 to 10 years. In addition, 3 offenders were found guilty of possessing homemade guns and ammunition, and they received prison sentences ranging from 1 to 6 years. This move serves as a warning to individuals involved in drug-related offenses and possession of illegal firearms. The authorities are committed to keeping the community safe and are taking strict measures to curb such criminal activities.
Consulted during the course of the patrols and investigation. So these drugs have been dated back to March, from March till November 2022. So all these suspects and accused have already been convicted for various offences such as homemade guns, in possession of unlicensed firearm and ammunition, and also for drugs. So they've been sentenced and convicted between 3 years and 10 years.
You're watching TV1 News. After the break, Hydro Station for District and Parliamentary Committee keen on equality.
It was during and after COVID that really motivated me to want to take up life insurance. I think savings is very important, and I think One Talk Delight provides a disciplined approach to savings, and it's a good investment to want to think about the future, because it's always nice to have plans for what you want to do later on.
With you for life.
Whether we're playing sport, exercising for fitness, being active for work or play, just having some fun, or just chilling, there is one name we can count on that we know will keep us going strong. Skell Rice. Healthy, nutritious, delicious medium grain rice full of vitamins and minerals. Skell helps us maintain a healthy, active lifestyle so we can enjoy every day.
Skell Rice. Skell Life.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo in milk taste and added nutrients, Milo in milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Prime PNG made.
Our journey starts with you. We'll be there from the start, right through to your life's adventures. We'll ensure comfort and make your safety our priority. We'll take you to memorable moments, no matter where it begins. And we'll get you there like we've always done. The 4th generation coaster bus, more than just a bus.
Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi trupla. All get a young plana lapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
Remus Smith will wall break for the corner.
Welcome back. The book Bilang Pikininis inventory team is donating sets of its popular When I Grow Up reader series to elementary schools in Port Moresby. These books feature Papua New Guinea children in professional roles and cover 13 professions, with 6 more to come during Book Week. Teachers and students alike are thrilled to receive these books, as most schools in Papua New Guinea lack books for their classroom libraries. The first lucky schools to receive the donations were Tediro, Hohola Demonstration, Ekivaki and St. Michael Elementary Schools. This initiative not only promotes literacy but also inspires young Papua New Guineans to pursue various professional fields. The Parliamentary Committee on Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment will use its powers to hold government agencies to account. Chairman of the committee, Governor Powers Pakop, said they are adamant and committed to demanding for better responses from government agencies.
The Parliamentary Committee on Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment, or GEWE, met on Monday, May 15, 2023, to prepare for their first round of public hearings, which will be run from 24 to 26 May at the Parliament House. Chairman Powes Pakop at the meeting put government agencies on notice. The committee wants to know what funds are being allocated, what activities are being implemented, and why the women and girls of our country are still not feeling any change in their daily lives despite gender equality being a core priority for the country. The 3-day hearing starting on May 24th to the 26th will start with testimony from a range of NGO representatives and women's experts who will be providing the committee with insights from the field on the real-life experiences of women and girls. Days 2 and 3 will focus on reviewing the government's efforts to address gender-based violence and sorcery accusations-related violence. This discussion will build on the work of the Special Parliamentary Committee on GBV. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
A week-long celebration for the leading women microfinancial institution, Women's Microbank or Mama Bank, recently observed its 9th anniversary and held a Mother's Day donation drive for the Glennsville Orphanage.
Mama Bank, a leading women microfinancial institution, completed a week-long celebration of its 9th anniversary and Mother's Day with a donation drive for the Glennsville Orphanage. The donation will support young orphans, disadvantaged children, church leaders, and community members at the AOG Wildlife Church. Mama Bank's donation is a commitment to giving back to the community and supporting worthy causes that make a difference in people's lives. Glennsville Orphanage takes care of children between the age of 5 and 20. Founder Miss Glens acknowledged Mama Bank for its support. She noted that the donation will go a long way in providing the children with necessities in food, clothing, and shelter. Mama Bank's staff and management were delighted to participate at the event and support the orphanage in its mission to provide care and support to children in need. Mama Bank CEO Gunanidi Das acknowledged the Glennsville Orphanage for its tireless efforts in caring for disadvantaged children and providing them with a safe and nurturing environment. Jasmine Ero, TVWAN News.
Over 70 Christian Revival Crusade pastors and church leaders around the country converged at the Taruba Christian Revival Crusade Church in Rigo District, Central Province for the National Council meeting for pastors and leaders. The week-long event began on Tuesday, May 15 and ends this Friday, May 19.
Taruba Christian Revival Crusade Church in Rigo District of Central Province hosted over 70 CRC pastors and church leaders around the country for the National Council meeting for pastors and leaders of CRC. Delegates from 22 provinces in the country converged to discuss and assess ways forward for CRC in PNG, stated CRC National Council Chairman Pastor Barnabas Tabara.
We gather to evaluate how far and how much we have done over the years, and also to redefine our mission and to discuss about new ways and new methods of reaching the lost for Christ. And we discuss and give reports of how much churches and work that has progressed over the years. And we are just going over our 50 years anniversary now.
Chairman of Event Planning Committee for Taruba CRC Church, Nao Virobo, mentioned that Taruba Tabernacle Center was buzzing with local school students and members of the community who gathered to welcome the visitors.
This was the short notice given to the church, the local church, Taruba CRC, and from the first announcement through December 2022 conference. And the second challenge is really about convincing the congregation to raise the necessary funds. Because first of all, we just relied on local subscriptions. That is, they had to raise funds from their pockets. That's what they did.
The convention was first hosted in Kwikila, Central Province in 2022. Jasmine Ero, TVWAN News.
The Finschhafen District Development Authority in Morbe Province has signed an agreement with AG Investment Limited to build a hydro station in the district. Finschhafen DDA Chairman and Minister for Finance and Planning, Rainbow Paita, applauded the investor for having confidence in his DDA and investing to build the hydro.
Finschhafen District Development Authority have come on board to supply power to Leh City in the near future. This comes after the signing of an agreement between the DDA and the AG Investment Limited to build a hydro to power up Leh City. DDA Chairman and Minister for Finance and Planning, Rainbow Paita, explained that the DDA have commenced the initial work on the project 6 years ago. The MOA comes after the initial MOU signed in 2019 with the developer.
Studies are ongoing. As we speak, SMEC is on the ground continuing to do more studies, especially with the 3 rivers there. So the end game for us is probably producing affordable, reliable, competitive power.
Mr. Paita also acknowledged the support from Governor TVWAN and the administration for pushing for the implementation of the project. He said with the constant blackouts in Leh City, such project will relieve the city residences and the business houses.
We thank Governor and your team for this renewed support we're having for us to realize our dream to develop a hydro capability in the district, and which is not just district but in the region of Fisika and the province as well. So we've involved a lot of partners, SMEC, to do the feasibility studies. Our foundational investor is AG Investment Limited, and
Governor Wenge pledged his full support on the project and committed to see the project become a reality. Meantime, AG Investment Limited Managing Director Alan Guo thanked Finschhafen DDA for having confidence and partnering with them to deliver this vital project that will change the lives of the people in Finschhafen and Morbe Province. AG Investment have also built the Edevu hydropower plant in Central Province, which is the largest commercial hydropower station in the country, generating 54 megawatts of electricity to supplement the capital's 140 megawatts electricity demand. Freddie Moe, TV1 News.
Papua New Guinea has declared 21 May as World Tree Kangaroo Day in an effort to raise awareness about the importance of tree kangaroos and promote conservation efforts. The day will also spotlight PNG's unique biodiversity and its significance in climate change mitigation as home to the world's 3rd largest rainforest. The Minister for Environment, Conservation and Climate Change, Simon Kilipe, spearheaded the move with Mosby South MP Justin Chachenko and NCD Governor Powers Pakop. The 21st of May will now be recognized globally as a day to celebrate PNG's unique wildlife and promote tourism opportunities. This is TV1 News. We'll have a look at what's making headlines in the region after these short messages. Stay tuned.
There's a sense of pride when you're able to do something right, a financial decision that has just really good benefits. With BSP Life Insurance, there's that alleviation of that worry when you pass away. The benefits of the BSP Life Insurance would meet those expenses on behalf of my family. If you're young and you have kids, you owe it to your children to make sure they're not left behind when you pass on.
With you for life.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SP Lager, Bunyamyumi.
Hiya, Mama. You wait then, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magic kakaru, get up a big smile on face. Time for kimchi and a great fumu too. Sip, sip, the mumu, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves.
All One Talks adds some excitement to your festivities with the Flame Easter Bonanza. Win a slice of a whopping 300,000 kina by purchasing the Flame Family Bundle Pack, which includes rice, sugar, flour and vegetable oil, all in one go. Highlight these goodies on your receipt and scribble your full name and contact details on the back and pop it in the entry box in selected stores across PNG. 4 fortnightly draws, 100 winners, 3,000 kina each. You don't want to miss out. This promotion ends on the 31st of May. Flame, strength and energy. Terms and conditions apply.
Tired of sniffing, sneezing and congestion? Stop popping pills that don't help. Get essential vitamins found in nature through these supplements that are formulated to reduce the symptoms of common colds and flu. Boost your body's immunity with these supplements that provide a protective shield against nasal congestion, sneezing, mild bronchial cough and sore throats. Walk into a city pharmacy and pick up a bottle of Nature's Way Garlic Plus C and horseradish or the sugar-free Cenovis Sugarless Vitamin C tablets and say goodbye to sickness. Available at a city pharmacy near you.
Monster machines, huge hubs, colossal constructions, mega movers. In a world full of big demands and tight competition, only the best delivers.
If it could be bigger, that would make it bigger.
Yes! Mega Monday, streaming now on Outdoor.
Welcome back. In regional news, in the coming days, 2 American C-17 Globemaster transport planes will bring in 20 vehicles as part of Papua New Guinea's preparations for the arrival of U.S. President Joe Biden. The president meets with Pacific Island leaders dubbed the Island. APEC House will be the most watched building in the country, if not the entire Pacific region. The presidential limousine, popularly referred to as the Beast, Marine One and security detachments are expected to arrive before the president touches down in Port Moresby. About 1,000 local security personnel, both PNG Defence Force and police, will be under heavy guard. Minister for Internal Security, Peter Siamalali Jr., confirmed the collaboration between the PNG Task Force, who will work in line with U.S. security and intelligence teams as well as the Indian intelligence. The Commonwealth will pay out another $130 million to people affected by the toxic firefighting foam known as PFAS. Up to 30,000 residents living near 7 Defence Force bases could be eligible for the latest settlement, but those with contaminated properties that are now worth nothing say the money won't be enough.
Once a sprawling garden with chickens roaming the grass, Joanna Pickford's backyard is now in boxes and her chooks in a cage.
I think they've got away with murder.
At the end of her street is the Richmond RAF base, where the groundwater is laced with toxic PFAS. The chemicals were found in old military firefighting foam, phased out by Defence in the 2000s. But the damage was already done.
I don't think anyone, especially in Australia, should have to beg for safe, clean water for their kids and their families.
Rhiannon Haswell is the lead claimant in the class action, covering 7 sites: Richmond, Wagga Wagga, Wodonga, Edinburgh, Bullsbrook, Darwin and Townsville. Their lawyers have secured a $132.7 million settlement offer from the Commonwealth.
We're confident that it results in a good outcome for all group members.
It's the second multi-million-dollar payout to PFAS victims. In 2020, Defence paid more than $200 million to residents of Williamtown, Oakey and Catherine.
People have suffered from the use of this. It's another example
of where we have to get occupational health and safety right.
As part of the settlement, the Defence Department doesn't have to admit any liability. The Federal Court will now decide whether the offer is enough and how much money lawyers can take from it.
I think they should pay more. I think they should compensate people equal to what they've had to expend.
To me, they already admitted guilt. You don't get bottled water as a citizen for no reason.
A class action over an 8th site, Wreck Bay, in the Jervis Bay Territory, is yet to be settled.
Queensland's Indigenous Legal Service has suspended services at 10 locations due to a lack of government funding. Legal advocates warn it'll hit First Nations clients hard and could directly lead to more Indigenous incarceration.
Terry Murray is a regular at the Atherton Courthouse in Far North Queensland, helping First Nations people navigate the legal system. It's a busy job, and it just got busier.
If we don't have a legal service, they're just going to have to sort of like do the best they can, and we can do the best we can do to support them.
Queensland's Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Legal Service has just suspended services in 9 regional centres and in Brisbane, due, it says, to a lack of federal and state funding.
We don't get any long-term sustainable funding to meet the ever-increasing needs of service delivery in Queensland.
Shane Duffy says he's gutted by the decision.
What it will mean is more people going to jail.
The Federal Attorney General's Department says it's aware of the difficulties that ATSLs are currently experiencing and said an independent review of the National Legal Assistance Partnership will assess the allocation of all Commonwealth legal assistance funding, and particularly services for First Nations people. Advocates say that it's critical for Indigenous clients to have access to duty lawyers with a specialist knowledge of First Nations issues, and that without this support, clients are at a huge disadvantage.
There's a fear about being incarcerated. Even over the smallest matters, there's a fear there for them.
A fear, he says, could turn into reality if they're not represented by lawyers in court.
Back home, Governor of Medan Province Ramsey Pariwa extended the charitable gesture of the Papua Province of the Republic of Indonesia by delivering 20 metric tons of rice to the displaced Manam Islanders at the Potsdam Care Center in Zogari Village on Sunday, May 14, 2023. Arrangement for the rice was made through the Momaster Governor's Council Secretariat in 2019 through a memorandum of understanding being formalized for a sister province relation.
Governor Pariwa recently delivered bales of Merauke rice to Manam Islanders living in the care centers. The 20 metric tons of rice was part of the humanitarian assistance promised under the Memorandum of Understanding by the Papua Province of Merauke in Indonesia to maintain its sister province relations with Medan Province. A delegation from the Papua Province, led by Ibu Susi Waingal, was in Medan to deliver the rice and seal the deal with Governor Pariwa. Governor Pariwa thanked the government of Papua Province for the generous assistance to displaced Manam Islanders. Shipping company Bismarck Maritime transported the container with the rice from Jayapura, Indonesia, free of charge to Medan. Kenny Bolly, president of Yabu LLG, and the chiefs were present to welcome the governor and his delegation. Another 50 tons of Merauke rice are expected to arrive at a later date. Manam Islanders had faced hardship and hunger for almost 20 years living in the care centers and continue to plead for government's intervention. Frida Kana, TVWAN News.
And now the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. This is TV1 News. Sports is next with Terry. Stay with us.
New Fabuloso multi-purpose cleaner with an irresistible fragrance that lasts all day long, creating a field of flowers in every corner of your home with an irresistible fragrance that lasts and lasts all day long. Fabuloso, irresistible fragrance.
The pride of the Pacific Islands on display.
Leopards, bison, cheetahs, and more.
Ideally, all of these animals roaming freely would paint a beautiful picture. However, human progress won't allow that. The next best thing is to give them value.
Join Dan Cabela as he sets out on an international journey of discovery within the world of conservation.
There is no one-size-fits-all solution, and science is the best hope to find answers for their survival.
Hard Truths of Conservation, streaming now on Outdoor.
Welcome to MotoGP. To be a highly dramatic 18-lap Malaysian Grand Prix Moto2 started with...
So that's a very decent middle sector for the Alpine. They only half it all.
They have crashed! They've got into each other! What a start for Will Davison. Di Pasquale has been swamped.
Some of the biggest and most talented egos in sailing.
The two-time defending champions make it 2 in a row.
There's a story in that dressing room of rock that rose from dust. There is courage you can count on and a mateship you can trust. There comes a time when you must fight.
That's onto the back plane.
And it lights an inner fire that electrifies the night. Yet, above the heaving cauldron and beyond the mighty game, there's a legion in your corner and its colour bleeds the same.
Whiten, yes! Pull it to Holmes! What a ball! What a try to Valentine! Over the top, it's an open passage to Tupou. Is something cooking here? You bet it is! Now Cleary, Ben Hunt! It's been pitched by Ben Hunt! Ben Hunt wins the Origin for Queensland!
And thank you for staying with us. In sports, Hekari United registered its first win in the Oceania Football Champions League yesterday against home side Ifira Blackbird FC at the VFF Freshwater Stadium in Port Vila, Vanuatu. The strong match ended with a 2-0 result in favour of the visitors.
2010 champions Hekari United have earned a hard-fought 2-0 win over local hope Ifira Blackbird FC in Group B of the OFC Champions League 2023 in Port Vila, Vanuatu. The Papua New Guinea side scored 2 second-half goals to repel the challenge of the Vanuatu team in front of a vibrant and vociferous home crowd of nearly 6,000. Ifira Blackbird surprisingly kicked too long from the kickoff, and Hekari United immediately countered, streaking the length of the field in a dangerous attack. That set the tone for a frenetic opening with sweeping movements from both sides during end-to-end play. But the finishing didn't match the artistry displayed during each build-up, with several weak shots and poor decision-making when scoring opportunities arose. Hekari United also struck the side netting twice. A spirited appeal for handball in the Hekari penalty area in the 36th minute threatened to be the defining moment of the first half, but composed referee Kavitesh Behari dismissed the hometown pleas for a penalty. 4 minutes later, the raucous crowd were on their feet when Ifira Blackbird had several chances to find the back of the net during a melee in the Hekari box, but the finishing, including an outrageous backheel, was once again subpar. Returning from an evenly contested strong first half, young gun Yassi Yasasa netted the first goal following a free kick 13 minutes into second half. Ifira goalkeeper Anthony Taiwia was forced to tidy up a long ball under pressure that he accidentally stepped out of the box before he could let go of the ball. Ifira formed a 10-strong yellow and green wall but could not prevent Yasasa from drilling the ball into the top right-hand corner. Into the final quarter of the game, Rex Naime booted another goal to boost his side's lead 2-0. Despite constant attacking raids, Ifira could not convert chances into goals and now face a tense battle to qualify for the semi-finals. Hekari now sits behind AS Pirai, who defeated Tiga Sport 3-0 earlier in the Group B match. Salome Vincent, TV1 Sports.
The annual PNGDF Commanders Cup tournament is set to return after a 3-year recess due to COVID-19. In an official media announcement today, Chief of Defence Force General Major Mark Gonia confirmed this year's Commanders Cup will be played at Egan Barracks in Lae from the 12th to the 20th of July this year.
After a 3-year hiatus due to COVID-19, the PNGDF biannual Commanders Cup tournament is set for a big comeback this year. The key focus of the Commanders Cup is to foster friendship within the military while harnessing physical fitness, health and well-being so that they are able to discharge their duties and responsibilities. In a media conference today at the PNGDF headquarters, PNGDF Chief of Defence Major General Mark Goina gladly announced the schedule for the Commanders Cup set for July 12 to July 20 at Egan Barracks in Lae. 10 teams have confirmed to take part, including 2007-2019 back-to-back Cup champions HMS PNG's Basilic Marlins. Basilis Major General Goina said PNGDF has a long history with rugby that goes back to the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s. He was proud to know that back then, soldiers dominated the PNG national team in 7s and 15s.
PNGDF, formerly under the Australian Army, dominated the sports in the 60s, winning numerous premierships at Bower Park. This was the same in both the 70s and 80s, as more soldiers became involved in this particular code. During those periods, soldiers dominated the Puk-Puks. Major David Teki is one of such product, who is now the tournament coordinator for this year.
Major General Goina was pleased to announce also that a women's team will play against a Lae women's select side. The teams are defending champions Basilic Marlins, Goldie Warriors, LRRU Troopers, Crocs, FSB Tigers, Tarangau, Sharks, 2RPIR, ATW Eagles and 1RPIR. The CDF also acknowledged the corporate support towards the tournament.
The tournament will be conducted from 12 to 20 July. There will be games held at Egan Barracks, Scrum Oval, and Sir Ignatius Kilage Stadium, respectively. I am open and pledging to the lay community to come forward and be able to be part of the tournament as well. It will be an exciting tournament and an entertainment for families to come and watch.
David Tiki, one of PNG's unsung heroes who put the Pukpuks on the world map back in the 90s, has lost nothing in terms of love and passion for rugby. Currently officer in charge of the HQ PNGDF training branch, Major Tiki is the main man behind the coordination of this year's PNGDF Commanders Cup. He's happy to see the tournament return this year and looks forward to seeing some exciting rugby throughout the tournament. The former Pukpuk Sevens wrecking ball said he's always ready to give back to the sport that played a big part in his life.
We've left a benchmark, our legacy, but I am appealing to those young rugby players within the military to seriously take up rugby as a sport, as a pathway in building themselves up, and also making numbers or contributing numbers into the national team, not only in rugby union, but all the other sports as well. We have seen a decline. There's a big decline in military personnel representing the country in all sports. But with rugby union, yeah, I'd really be appreciative of them taking part and taking it seriously as a way forward in both the military career and sporting career.
After round 2 of the Moresby South Rugby Football League, competition is gradually picking up momentum at the Moresby Southside Stadium. Despite numerous delays to the start of the season, games have gone ahead while most clubs have complied with regulations.
On Sunday, only one match was played between Talai Spartans and 2CT Rabbitohs. Rabbits came home in a penalty goal 2-0 at full time. The soccer-like scoreline was a testament to an evenly contested affair, with both teams unable to crack the line. The unbearable heat factor did not dampen the enthusiasm and spirit of the players battling out through the 60 minutes of fast and entertaining football going down to the wire. Last week, 6 forfeits were recorded due to late club affiliation fee payments. The following clubs are yet to comply: Vabukori Mosquitoes, Nauna Eels and Southern Suns. They've been given until May 20 to pay up or face the consequences. Meantime, the results of the A-grade matches last week: Gabutu Dragon 16 beat Vadavada United 12, Tarama Wolfpack 8 defeated Coney Eels 0, Kipo Eastern Pride 16 defeated Pom Black Eels 4, and Calgary Seagulls 14 beat Subsea Raiders 10. In the under-20, Gabutu Dragons 20 beat Vadavada 0, Tarama Wolfpack drew 6-all with Coney Eagles, Kipo Eastern Pride 12 beat Pom Black Pearl 6, and Subsea Raiders 6 defeated Calgary Seagulls 4. After round 2, Gabutu Dragons, Kipo Eastern Pride and Tarama Wolfpack are undefeated.
And finally, the prospect of a new AFL stadium for Hobart has given the Premier major political problems in recent days, but Jeremy Rockcliffe digging in his heel in the fight for the project. He has also pledged to be more open and transparent about the deal.
Despite 2 MPs walking out and thousands voicing their disapproval over the weekend, the Premier's pushing ahead with his stadium plans.
Now, people might not like it, but I will be absolutely getting the job done. I won't be backing down.
But he has responded to calls for more detail.
We will be open and transparent. I'm more than happy to be open about the deal. I have been in terms of the investment of public funds that are going in there.
The first obstacle his minority government faces: a Greens move to stop the stadium being funded in next week's budget. The opposition would need to agree for that to happen, but Labor's ruled out blocking the budget.
If we can make sure Tasmanian taxpayers aren't footing the bill for a taxpayer-funded stadium, we will do that. But we won't be blocking supply, because we want to make sure that nurses and teachers and other public servants get paid.
Major parties always warn of the danger of minority government, but some MPs say they're a good thing.
Balance of power parliaments can be excellent because you get ideas tested, you get a dynamism in the vote, and it keeps government on its toes.
I certainly think Tasmanians have been saying for a long time now that party politics is not doing them well, and they're more interested in seeing a crossbench which is interested in the best interest of the community.
The government may get its budget through next week, but getting through the next 2 years before a state election won't be easy. There'll be a constant threat of no confidence motions, and getting legislation through has gone from a formality to a challenge, with at least 2 MPs needing to support each bill for it to pass.
And that is sports for today. Maricela.
Thank you, Terry. That brings us to the end of this edition of TV1 News. Pleasant viewing. Good night.
The TV1 News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.